Hello and welcome to the Fleet Feet Running Club. My name is Brandy Barbary and I'm the running club manager here at Fleet Feet St. Louis. This email is just to provide a video explanation, not necessarily to be repetitive, but just describe out into a bit more detail on the ins and outs of the 13.1 and 26.2 training program that starts on Tuesday, January 4th. At 6:30 at Parkway Northeast Middle School. Now, as you'll see in this email, there's some helpful links that are attached to the beginning of this email. Those links will be, again, not only attached to this email, but all other emails sent throughout the remainder of this program. The first one being a little bit of socially. It is to our Facebook page where you can connect to a lot of runners here in the St. Louis area. Perhaps you have to miss a run and you're looking for some running buddies. Perhaps you want to post a question on things that you've experienced. Maybe other ones can provide some insight. Maybe you just want to post some pictures because it's funny and whatever. You'll see that there's a variety of content on that Facebook page. And as the program starts, you'll see more and more banter that happens on this Facebook page. Our Garmin Connect group. Many of you guys wear these fancy schmancy Garmins on your wrists here. You do not have to have a Garmin watch to have a Garmin Connect account. What this particular link is to help me guide you as a coach because, of course, I can't be with you every step of the way in this journey. So if you have a Garmin Connect or a Garmin watch and you link up to our Garmin Connect group, I can see and visualize all your workouts. So maybe perhaps in the future, if things aren't going your way, or maybe it is, and you want some insight from me or from my staff, I can actually look at your whole entire history and find you pretty quickly because all my athletes are grouped up together. I can find you, look at your data, and provide helpful hints on what to do, keep doing perhaps, and what not to do along the way. So think about it as a Rolodex, if you will, for myself. So I can easily find you, look at your workouts, and provide some good insight. You will have to request to be joined to both of those pages, the Facebook page and the Garmin Connect. I'll quickly approve that request, and then you'll be out and along your way. Now, the Rained Out is a free text messaging service that we use infrequently, but definitely a good thing to subscribe to in case of inclement weather, of course. It's an easier, faster way for myself and for my staff to communicate any changes to you if we're out and the scene has become too treacherous, too icy, too wintry, perhaps here in the winter. I can pull up my phone and text my running club folks that maybe we're delayed, maybe we're canceled, maybe a route change or those. Again, we use it very infrequently, only to push out emergent information. So please subscribe to that to stay in the know as quickly as possible. And again, this is a faster way for us to do it. If we're out on the road looking at the course, it's really hard for us to find hotspot, drum up our computers and push out email communication. So it's a little bit quicker as you go. So working further down this email, if you guys have not done so, please fill out the personal assessment survey. It's a series of questions. I know some of you guys who are veterans have done it before, but it is a great way for us to get to know you if we don't know you as a runner. And it's even better a way to get to know even my veteran runners, and maybe perhaps what their goals are for this season. Maybe they want to go for the gold. Maybe they've been suffering some injuries that we're just not ready or know about just quite yet. So please fill out this personal assessment survey so we can get to know you better as a runner or a walker. We use this, right? We use this heavily to decide what pace group you're going to belong to at the beginning of the program. Notice I said beginning. Perhaps we will be promoted along the training program or up pace groups as our fitness level allows us to do so, but really does give us an idea of where we should start again at the beginning of this program. So please, 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 please fill out to that to the best of your ability. Now, going down this email, there are now kind of a division of our half and full marathon links here. You'll see 3 links under both the full and half. 1, the training schedule. 2, the training explanation, and 3, the table of standard distance. If you guys are following along or have a computer out in front of you, what I would like for you guys to do is first click on the training explanation, and then we'll kind of go back and look at the training schedule because it will make more sense, and then finish out with a table of standard distance a little bit later. So as we go back here, I did want to mention what the Fleet Feet Running Club training philosophy is. As many of you guys know, perhaps you don't, there's a ton of training philosophies that are out there on the internet, on Runner's World. Perhaps you've even been talking to, a couple of your friends who are runners. There are a lot of ways to skin a cat in terms of, half and full marathon training. We kind of combine a literary review, if you will, some training philosophies of really well-known, well-documented, peer-reviewed, research, science-based kind of training philosophies. Ours does follow a little bit more of what I would call a periodization, where we start with very easy base type training. We move off into kind of some strength training phase, or we really get into some heavy miles, some harder workouts. We'll kind of taper off towards the end of the program, and then we'll take some active rest to let our bodies recover and repair for the big day coming up in April, maybe even early March, maybe even early May as we go along with it. And not to go overstep or jump too far ahead, but the training schedule that I linked is specifically to the Go St. Louis marathon weekend and half marathon weekend. That is where you'll have the coach support of the Fleet Feet Running Club. That's where I'd like to start, because all of us, no matter where we're starting from, are going to start kind of for the month of January, of course, all together. And then I am happy to divide and conquer for any race of any weekend that you have. Because I know that a lot of you are training for other races outside of April 2nd. So I'm happy to make some training schedule modifications so you can know what you should do for your particular race. That being said, though, we all start with this kind of base type training. So keep in mind, you're going to hear a lot from me and from a lot of our coaches that the first month of training should be very, very, very basic base building, right? So nothing too hard, too fast, too much, right? We need to introduce your body into training very slowly, very conservatively, so that we don't provide too much of a training stimulus, out of which we're kind of playing catch up all 12 weeks of the program, but really just making sure that we have a solid foundation to jump off of to the harder workouts later. So let's not go in this, 0 to hero type mode. Let's be very conservative. So if you are just starting in training, it's not biting off too much more than you can chew. And if really that you guys have been doing a lot of training up to this point, it might be a step back for some of you guys in mileage. And you know what? That's okay. We do kind of need to hit reset, a little bit of active recovery before, again, that we get going. So let's try to do the best we can, not to suffer from the terrible twos. That's TOOS, too much, too soon, too quick, too fast. During the month of January, that allows us February and March really to get down and dirty. Some of us even into April, specifically those who are racing a little later in April or May. So we got plenty of time, right? So January should be base type training, nothing fast, nothing too hard, right? Just go out and have fun and get our bodies into the groove of training. Some of us have been sitting on some holiday break. That would be me. All right, so moving on here, you'll notice that each one of the training schedules are color-coded. Now, these color codes mean a variety of different things. But right now, you'll notice that there's some very short, very easy runs that are color-coded in blue. These are recovery workouts. These are workouts where you really very much so are conversational based. So you could go out and just blab your lips, much like I am right now, sitting here. Very easy, very, very easy workouts. One of the things that most people don't do, in my opinion, is recover. So these blue tinted, blue bolded workouts are short and easy training that are used for recovery. These are the ones that, in my mind, people don't overtrain, they under recover. So these are ones that literally you're going to think are kind of a waste of your time, not even worth getting bundled up and getting ready to roll. But these are all in the sake of recovering your body actively, which is very important, if not the most important thing to some of the harder workouts that are moving down the list here. So very easy, very conversational, very, very important, and things that a lot of runners overlook. Those color-coded in green are what I would consider more of your long run pace groups. These are about 60 seconds slower than your goal marathon or half marathon race pace. So we're just going to use race pace. Just know it's relative to the race that you choose. So these are long, easy runs. That being said, some of you guys have a goal of racing, let's say, at a 10-minute mile. So know that your long run pace is going to be at least, if not slower than, an 11-minute mile, as will any of the other runs that are color-coded in this green type manner. And I know we're talking about pace only here. I'll give you guys a little bit of a heart rate commercial when we get into the training program specifically. Those that are color-coded in orange, these are your race pace workouts, right? So like the example I mentioned before, if you guys are looking at racing your half or full marathon at around a 10-minute pace, that is what these workouts should elicit, about that 10-minute mile pace to really get your body dialed in, dress rehearsal, if you will, to the pace that you are gunning for on race day. And then if you're color coding in red, which is mostly to receive, where you'll see red will be on Tuesdays and red every other Thursday, just to get a little bit of some anaerobic work in. Now, some of our runners will be running only. Some of you guys will be run walking, and some of you guys, particularly in the half marathon group, will be walking. All right. Now, when I use all of this color coding, this is all the same, whether or not you will be put into a run group, a run walk group, or a walk group. Now, many of you guys kind of skipping over really the run, but yet it does still kind of apply to you as well. Many of you guys are going to be slowed down way more than perhaps you've done in the past. Please trust me. Please trust the process, that we are not trying to make you go backwards, make you go, hey, I wanted this program to push me, right? To make myself improve. This is not, if you are put in a group that's a little bit slower than what you're used to, this is not trying to demote you, if you will. This is just trying to use some sound science to help you move forward, sometimes going backwards to kind of help you move forwards. We'll talk about that a lot in the first couple weeks, particularly maybe even the full week of January as we go along with this. If you guys are put in a run walk group and you have never run walk before, I'm asking that you give it a shot. All right. Many of us can put these walk breaks early and often to prolong fatigue. And it's an amazing way for runners at a variety of different experience levels and fitness levels, really to promote recovery and sometimes promote endurance, and sometimes allows you to go way farther and perhaps even way faster in the long run. So make sure, if you guys are put in a long run group, embrace it. Talk to me about it. It is a conversation that I would love to have with you, but just know that those frequent walk breaks should be pushed early and pushed often to prolong fatigue. So if you're in this program and you are put in a run walk group and that kind of takes you off, know that I'm just trying to promote your aerobic fitness and help you go a little bit further, perhaps a little bit more comfortably. Now, one of the things looking at your training schedule, and again, I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, that I know, but your weekday runs are very, very important. So we meet twice per week as a whole. Tuesday nights at Parkway Northeast Middle School at 6:30 and Saturday mornings at 7:30 at a variety of parks along the St. Louis and St. Charles County, sometimes even St. Louis City region. But know that I'm going to ask that you guys put in more than those two workouts as we go through this training program. My hope is that you guys are putting in at least 4 days per week, if not more, as we go through this program. Now, you guys may not be there yet. That is what this month of January is going to try to promote. So if you guys are not doing a whole lot, maybe you guys are running twice per week with a few walks, in there just to kind of get you used to the frequency. But we hope that 2 quickly becomes 3. That might even turn 4 by the end of January. If you're already doing 4, what I might ask that you do is add a 5th, maybe, right? And again, a conversation I would love to have with you. We need to make sure that it fits into your life. Some of you already are doing the 4th, the 5th, maybe even the 6th day per week. I'll help you decide help you decide which one of the days that you should be running or walking as we get to the training program. There is something on that training program 6 days a week, 5 days a week. So I'm not asking all of you guys to do it, but I am asking that we work our way up to 4, if not more, frequency days per week as we move through this program. And again, please talk to me, please email me, and I can help decide which one of those are best. Now, during the weekend, the Saturdays, again, like I said, are your long run, long walk type of workouts, right? And let's talk a little bit about, first and foremost, how we're going to decide what kind of pace groups that you are. So skipping down through some of those, you can look at some of the definitions of this training explanation, but most of you guys are going to be concerned with the kind of the boots on the ground. So I'd like to spend most of my time talking about that. So many of you guys have maybe perhaps a goal pace, a goal time in your head. And that's where this personal assessment survey kind of comes in. That allows you to vocalize that goal to me. And I would definitely take that into consideration. But other things I want to take in consideration are things that also you would hopefully add into that personal assessment. That's your experience, right? I've been running for years and years and years and have countless amounts of God knows how many. I think I've pretty much done, at least dabbled in any of the endurance races out there. So taking account into experience, injury history, training history, right? You might have a slew of racing history, but your training history over the last 6 months is null and void. So, looking at what you guys have been even doing, particularly in the interim or in this acute few months leading into this training program, take that in consideration, your goals and anything else that you want to add into it. So that being said, there's a couple ways that I'm going to decide, taking that to consideration of what kind of group that you are in. And some of that now is trying to get into some of the training program scheduling here too. So Tuesday, January 4th, I'm going to ask that you guys give me a 3-mile, what I would call kind of a pace determination run. So I'm going to ask that you guys run 3 miles to the best of your ability. And yes, that means race it if you can, or run it the best, again, the way that you can. So I can use that 3-mile, not 5K, but 3-mile, because we are on a track. So it's easier to measure, if you will. I'm going to use that to look at where your current fitness level is. I will use that time then and project out what that time would be at a marathon or half marathon distance. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to run 3 miles at a 10-minute mile, and I'm going to ask that you run 10-minute miles for 26.2. That's not what I said. What I'm said is, and we're going to get to this in the table of standard distance, table standards, where does that relatively speak or put you when you're looking forward into a half or full marathon training distance? So I am going to kind of cross-reference, if you will, all that information that I've read. Again, personal history, personal training, your experience level, all of those sorts of things. I'm going to look at where your goals are, and I'm going to look at where your 3-mile time is, and I'm going to place you into groups that speak to a specific marathon and half marathon time. All right. So What I'm trying to say is maybe you self-report that you want to do a 2-hour marathon or 2-hour, that's fast, 2-hour half marathon. Okay. But then I'm going to look at your 3-mile time, and maybe that's closer to a 2:15 or 2:20. And then I see that you have been training super hard. You've got a history of some, maybe some injuries, and you're not quite kind of in that too. Maybe I would suggest starting in somewhere in the middle, like a 2:05, 2:10, 2:15 to start out with, and put you in, remember, at least 60 seconds slower than that as we go along. Now, if you look in this training explanation, scroll all the way down towards the end, you will see what kind of our groups are based off of. So the projected half and full marathon time, what your pace then would be per mile during the race itself, and then what long run group that you would be in. Our long run groups are separated by 30 seconds. So we start at 8:30, 8:30 goes to 9, 9:30, 10, etc., all the way down to run walk groups and walk groups. So I'm going to use so much information to try to decide where you fit into one of these groups, where your current fitness level fits into one of these groups. I will have those groups emailed out to you by Thursday of this week, and then you will meet that particular group on Saturday, January 8th, at our first run at Queenie Park. So again, lots of information, lots of science, lots of research, lots of number crunching, lots of self-reported, even subjective work will go into putting you guys into these pace groups that speak to your goals, all right, but also speaks to where your current fitness level is. Now, once we decide where you fit, a lot of the color coding systems will make a little bit more sense, because then you know that you're in a group that's gunning for a 10-minute pace. So your green is going to be more like an 11. Your blue is going to be more like an 11:45. Orange is more like a 10. And then red is anything but beside that. So once you guys have a specific goal pace, specific pace group, you will have those table of standard distance that will help, right, guide you through this training schedule. So let's poke that up real quick as we go along with it. Training schedules, whether or not you're looking at the half or the full, marathon training schedules look alike. So again, think of granimals, if you will. If you guys remember way back when, they still have them at Walmart, by the way. I've got 3 young kids, where the koala tag on your shirt matches the koala tag on your shorts. So if you don't know if things match, then you just connect the koala to the koala and you've got an outfit. So once I decide what pace group that you were in and give you these table of standard distances, then you'll know that your blue run, and again, using the example that I have been, remember, I want to race at a 10, which is orange. Green would then be an 11, right? Blue would probably closer to a 12, and then red is anything faster than my 10-minute pace. Then you can go back and look at this training schedule, right? And then you use that blue run, and you're thinking, okay, I got to run 40 minutes total. That 5 minutes in gray is just kind of a warm up and cool down. So anything underneath that. So the very first Sunday, which we passed, by the way, I know that was yesterday, then I'm asking for 40 minutes, 5 to kind of warm up, maybe just even walk, get set, get rolling. 30 minutes out blue, which is in this instance, I want to race at a 10. Green is at 11, blue is like a 12. All right, I run in that blue zone for 30 minutes. So 12-minute miles for 30 minutes. I do a cool down walk, 5 minutes, and then I'm done. Big check. I successfully completed that. Remember blue, I told you it's very conversational, very easy, almost like a waste of your time. It's so very important, right? Move off to Tuesday. Here comes Tuesday. It's red. We know that's faster than your pace. We know those reds are going to be hard. The hardest day of the week in terms of the fastest and most intense. So blue zone, I'm going to run blue. That's that 12-minute mile. I'm going to run for 10 minutes to warm up, okay? Then in this instance, I'm going to run my 3 miles, all right? And if you're not ready for 3 miles, we can do 1.5 miles. That's going to be described out in another email moving forward. Maybe we're not ready for 3. And then I'm going to cool down back at my 12-minute mile, and then off I go, right? Big check off the list. Go down. Wednesday mimics Sunday, right? 5 minutes walking, all right? A warm up. Maybe it's stretching at home before you go out the door into the freezing cold. There is 30 to 40 minutes back at my 12-minute pace. 5 minutes cool down. I'm done, right? Moving to Thursday, 40 minutes total. 5 minutes warm up again. 25 minutes now in my kind of long run pace group, right? So my 12 now moves to an 11, right? For 11-minute mile for 25 minutes. And then red is red, man. Red is anything faster than race pace. So it can be 9:40s. It can be 8:40s. You can go have fun. I don't care. I'll give you 10 minutes to knock the socks off. All right. So now you know, once we get through this week and I give you a specific table of standard distance, this whole training schedule will make way more sense, okay? So we really do need to get through this week to allow you to know exactly what those color codes mean in terms of pace groups. Then on that table standard distance that I will email out to your group, because everybody in your group, right, is going to have the same goal time, same goal pace, which is great. That's why you have really great running buddies now for the next 16 weeks. Then you'll know kind of what paces that you have. Now, moving beyond this, the biggest mistake that a lot of runners make, and I've been coaching runners for decades, is doing the same thing every day of the week. All of these color codes are almost like different ingredients in a recipe, right? I love chocolate cake, but there are many more, maybe even more important ingredients than your chocolate in your chocolate cake to get the end product that we want. So think about these different colors being different ingredients. The time spent in them is the amount of those ingredients, and then, baked over a certain time, over a certain temp. That's my job, and to create this whole training schedule that allows us over these next 16 weeks to bake appropriately along the way. Again, if you turn up the heat too quick, you're going to get burnt out. So this analogy of the recipe and these ingredients should make way more sense to you. Again, please challenge yourself to get outside of this one pace every day without fail. And go into these run fast when it's time to run fast, but definitely run slow when it's time to run slow, and get out of this middle ground as we go through kind of this training season. So hopefully those color codes make sense. I do run by minutes as opposed to mileage during the week, because I feel like it allows you to time manage a little bit better. Okay. So if you are running slower than normal, or if you are running on a time crunch, which I am for the most part, right? I'm practically running an entire club, kind of set business on my own. I have 3 kids with a husband that travels and a partridge and a pear tree. So I love running by minutes, because I know that, and I'm looking at the half marathons, and marathons are a little bit different, but I know on Thursday I need to block out 40 minutes and I can get my workout appropriately done in 40 minutes. And then you check and go, right? So 40 minutes, some of you guys might get 2-3 miles. Some of you guys might get 4 or 5 miles, and that's okay, because as ebb will flow, your bodies, right, all are under tension for 40 minutes, and that's what you specifically need, right? So again, don't worry if you cover 2 miles and your friend covers 3.2, right? It's still time under tension, and that's what your body knows. Your body does not know when this watch dings a mile. It just knows that it's been in motion for 11 minutes or 10 minutes or 12 minutes in this example that we've been running through, throughout. So Don't get too much. It's actually very freeing, right? Just to run by these minutes and get away from some very, very harsh realities of trying to fit in 5 miles, but I don't have 5 miles worth of time, but I do have 40 minutes. So I run for my 40 minutes, do what I can, check the box like I successfully completed what you did, and move on through the day. So I think that's great. Notice again, all Tuesdays are at Parkway Northeast Middle School. And just to clarify, on Saturdays, again, we're in different parks. All right, I will email you a lot this week, probably a lot next week as well. But once we get into the kind of the groove of things, you'll find out there's going to be a schematic of emailing happening, right? So Mondays, we'll email out your Tuesday workouts. Thursdays, I will email out your Saturday workout details. So those for sure that you'll know. All of those will have a video explanation in them, and all of them will have like drop links, details on the workouts, all that you need to know. So if you just want to come uber prepared, you'll be prepared. And if you need to do the workout on your own, you'll know what the heck we're doing in your absence. Okay, so that's good. Now let's do a little bit of a heart rate commercial, because like I said, these color coding systems help us decide what type of intensity that we want to do. Some of you guys will work off of pace and pace alone with my help, of course, giving you those table standard distances, which we'll look at here in a moment. Some of you guys love heart rate training. I love heart rate training too. As a coach, I love heart rate training. So if I can have a few seconds, minutes, hours, not hours, I was just kidding, to talk about heart rate training, then I would love to do so now. And again, this is not a mandatory way of training. I could very, very, very successfully give you guys some great advice based on pace, and we'll do so by Thursday, right? But some of you guys might run heart rate. So a lot of you guys, Garmin watches, Apple watches, Fitbits, all the above have these heart rate zones that are in it. There are color coded in Garmin, hence the color coding system in this training schedule. So some of you guys might notice that even if I give you a table standard distance and we start with pace, now all of a sudden what should be green, right? So I put you in the 11-minute pace group, that the end of that run should be mostly, no, we're not perfect, but mostly green if you're looking at your heart rate time in zones. And I'm happy again to help you out with that. And you'll notice that most of yours is red and orange, and it's really not supposed to be doing that. So another way of training is to train via heart rate. Heart rate, in my opinion, tells us internally what your body and how much stress, I guess, even more particular, how much stress your body is under as you're doing these workouts, right? So instead of going by this external gadget watch, you're going by your internal watch, if you will, making sure that these heart rates or those ingredients like we refer to or truly are the ingredients you need for that successful sub 4 hour marathon that everybody's been chasing down from years and years, months and months, or never ever, right? And you need to do something different. So heart rate training, again, in my mind, is a very objective way to make sure that the training responses that we need to be getting out of these workouts are truly training responses you are, in fact, getting, okay? Because in my mind, it's your heart does not tell a lie, right? It really does allow us to know how much stress that your body is under, so I can balance it out and guide it to the best of my ability. Now, for some of you guys who say, no, right? I want to break that 4 hour marathon and, I want to run by pace. I hear you. However, some of us are trying to externally lead our body when the internal gadgets and gadgets just aren't ready to do so. So really, it's my job as a coach to make sure that 9-ish minute pace, which is the sub 4 hour marathon, right around a 9-minute pace, falls in the correct heart rate zone or energy zone to successfully get you to the goals that you want. So eventually those two worlds, pace and heart rate, mold together. And it's in my mind, when they do, I can very confidently send my athlete to the starting line, ready to roll and properly prepared to get their goal. So heart rate training can be, or what seemed to be, very counterintuitive, but in my mind, again, as a coach, is a very, very, very accurate way for me to guide you and make sure that we're getting the training adaptations, not guessing, but guiding the training adaptations that we want to get. So on your table of standard distance, on your training plan, you'll see that I have color-coded what those paces should give you if you are looking at your time in your zones. So let's go to your training of standard, or table of standard distance, for a bit. Just kind of follow along with me. Again, if you have a computer out in front of you. So again, looking at the half marathon, let's use the half marathon time of 1:30, super fast today. All right, so anything, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, but anything faster than your goal pace, or the pace that you want to run on race day, which is in this case a 7-minute mile. I told you I was speedy today, is color-coded red. Those should be anaerobic in nature. Those should be hard, and those are the paces that you're going to see on Tuesdays, and maybe again every other Thursday. But really, those should be the only red zones you get through this training. So again, if you're seeing these colors on your zone and you're following these pace groups and stuff that I give you and you're not hitting them, maybe you should come contact me and we can figure out a plan to try to make those paces hit the zones that you want, and I can very easily help you do so. All right, so orange is again your goal pace, long run is green, easy is blue, and then your heart rate zones. If you want me right from the get-go to start calculating heart rate zones for you, fill out this little survey monkey. You'll need 3 days of resting heart rates averaged, as well as your age, and I can calculate those based on some equations to help guide you. It could be perhaps that your zones just aren't correct in your watch because they're on a default setting that needs to be very generic, because it's a default settings that Garmin sells to millions of people. But default settings is actually using your max heart rate, 220 minus your age, with a percentage that was thrown away decades ago on how to calculate heart rate zones. So there are very, very much so more concise ways of factoring those zones in, and I'm happy to do so. Okay. All right. So flipping back for one last thing, before I forget, back onto your training schedules, I'll get there. Notice down at the bottom of the training schedules, we are working towards 4 days a week. So if you don't want to go to this schematic, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you need to kind of flip-flop those, please feel free to flip-flop them if you need to. You don't have to follow this training schedule 100% of the way. First and foremost, if you need to take a break because you're under the weather or you've been traveling or whatever, that's fine. I really just ask that you follow it about 90%, with that 10% just being with life, right? Life in there. But again, we might take till January to get up to 4 days a week. But if you do, I would really love you to do one blue run, one green run, in addition to your Tuesday workout and your Saturday long run, okay? If you do 5 days a week, we're always doing our Tuesday and our Saturday runs. Then you need to add 2 in during the week of blue and 1 in green, etc., going up to 6. You kind of see the schematic. So it doesn't really matter when they are ran per se. There's a lot of arrows. If you need to switch Sunday and Wednesday, if you need to switch Thursday and whatever, all right, feel free to do so. It may not be perfect, but it's definitely the frequency it wins. So we should be good to go. Now, again, lots of training information. It will become more and more clear as you guys get your specific table of standard distance. So back to that 1:30 one that we were looking at, there's a lot of different times. There's a lot of different worksheets in this one link, right? So if you want to kind of start looking, right, and thinking ahead, again, using that 2-hour half marathon, if really that is your goal, now I might tell you that shouldn't be your goal right now, but maybe I won't. Now you can already start seeing what the colors that you guys should be running as you wait till Thursday and I crunch all the numbers and stuff for you, okay? All right. So then let's look at one other thing, and then I'll kind of let this kind of go up, email up to reps, because I know I'm already at the 40-minute mark. You guys are probably tired of hearing me talk. But one last thing that's linked to this email is this training, or excuse me, this voucher. It's a $20 voucher. You can bring it into any of our 5 area locations here. We've got O'Fallon, we've got De Pere, St. Charles, Chesterfield, and South County. It is good for $20. So any shirt like this, there's technical tees, there's hats, there's beanies, there's a ton of different stuff. As long as it has, you know, this Fleet Feet logo or Fleet Feet Running Club logo, think of that voucher as like $20 that you can spend in the store. If it's more than $20, you get $20 off. If not, it just if it's less than $20, then you get it for free. You can walk out with a nice logoed shirt and a smile on your face. Okay. All right. Questions. You're gonna have them. All right. So please email me. I'm back answering emails. I will tell you that after taking, you know, the week or so off on Christmas and getting everything organized, I'll do the best I can to divide through these emails. I am a one and only email reader, so I'm working on it. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Anything else, just let us know. And an email containing tomorrow's workout will be sent in a few minutes as well. All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.